Hi guys, it's me, Skylar Capri, and today we're talking about some all-new Victoria's Secret and Victoria's Secret Pink body care for the holidays. Now, if you're usually on my channel, usually I am not this like eyeshadowed, but I was like, you know what, this is a holiday video, I'll wear my red sweater, I'll kind of experiment with some red eyeshadow, and we'll kind of get into the holiday feels. That being said though, I am still aware that it is October, we'll be doing some Halloween content, continued fall content, so if you're not ready for holiday, don't worry just quite yet. But that being said, if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. We do all things Bath & Body Works on my channel, especially the body care, but I also like to go into some other companies that are popular in body care as well. Now, if that sounds like something interesting to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's dive right on into all of the products coming from Victoria's Secret and Victoria's Secret Pink Holiday. All right, you guys, you know the drill by now. I'm gonna sit on this side of the screen and put some images up right here. And all of these products are currently available online at Victoria's Secret. So I will be pulling the images right off of the website. That being said, let's start with the Victoria's Secret things, and they have a 4-piece collection for the holidays. Now we're gonna start out with the first fragrance called Candied Berry Wonderland, and I will be using a combination of either their fine fragrance mist or their body creams up on the screen. So starting out with Candied Berry Wonderland, this one says it's lush and sweet. Sweet nothings wrapped in an enchanting daydream, and the fragrance type is going to be fruity and musky. Notes on this: for top notes, we have jeweled pomegranate and snowy cranberry. The heart note, we have glistening camellia, and then base, we have prismatic musk. So this is going to be a really pretty berry musky fragrance, and this is something that I think is a little bit unique to what we were seeing in the Bath & Body Works lineup so far. We're not really getting a lot of those berry fragrances. Now, what I think this would be most similar to, if you like to shop both Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works holiday, I think this is going to have the most overlap with the Bath & Body Works new Mrs. Claus's cocktail that came out as part of the holiday preview, and I believe that one will start showing up in stores fairly soon. But these kind of have the same overall vibe. They have a berry note, however, the Victoria's Secret one does not have that citrus kind of add in. But if you are someone that likes to shop both, I could say you could maybe go with either or. But regarding this fragrance, I'm a big fan of pomegranate fragrances, especially in things like Bath & Body Works' Forever Red. I really enjoy pomegranate, so I'm excited to see pomegranate in the fragrance. I think the packaging overall looks really nice. It's a holiday, but very simple. This is something you could definitely have out on their shelves year round. There's nothing about this that has like a Christmas tree or snowflakes that makes the packaging itself very holiday, which I think can be a win or a negative. But for this one, I think it looks really classy. I like how the packaging is very cohesive. The cap matches the bigger label, and then we have sort of that peach color in the font, the bow, and then sort of the label on the bottom of the cap. So very exciting, and that one again is called Candied Berry Wonderland. Now the next fragrance is one that I think is going to be a little bit unique among the holiday lineups this year, even just with Bath & Body Works, and honestly broader into more of the drugstore, which I will also be doing a video on most of the drugstore holiday body care as well. Now this fragrance is called Cherry Bon Bon Bliss. It says it's sugared and delicious, when where elegance meets a candy-coated indulgence. So very fun, and it says it is a fruity scent type, which I feel like is pretty obvious given the name. Now this one has notes of a top note of winterberry, at the heart sugared cherry, and at the base pink moscato. It also does offer some other notes on the screen as well, and it says cherry bonbon, sweet liqueur, and pink winterberry. So I'm really excited for this one. However, when I did see it, it did remind me of one that we got last year and kind of had a similar vibe to, and that one would have been Perfect in Pink by Bath & Body Works. That one did have a cherry note to it, but it did also have, I believe it was almond creme and camellia, so there are some differences there, but I think people do really enjoy that winter cherry. So maybe if you were a big fan of Bath & Body Works' Perfect in Pink last year, but you're looking for something a little bit more fruity, a little bit deeper, the Cherry Bon Bon Bliss could definitely be the one for you. Now, the only thing that I would kind of put out there, if you will be ordering online or you're just going to blind buy these, because it does have that base note of pink moscato, it does raise the question of if it has a bubbly or boozy quality. Sometimes people really like that, so they'll really like something like a champagne toast, which really has like a bubbliness to it. I'm not sure how they do it, but I think it's very cool. And then other people, that just really not something that they like to wear in body care. So that would be the only thing that I'd maybe put a little bit of an an exclamation point besides, but besides that, I think this packaging is really good. And I think Cherry Bon Bon Bliss, I feel like my brain would have immediately gone to a bright red packaging, but I actually really like the pink. I feel like it's much more of that blissful, girly, coquette vibe. And then you have the red bow, which matches the red outlines and the red font. Overall, very cohesive. And I think Bath and Body Works, I think Victoria's Secret is going to attract a lot of people with this type of fragrance. Now, switching gears with our next fragrance, and we have Frosted Vanilla Fantasy by Victoria's Secret. I know a lot of people really like to get into the vanillas when it comes to the colder months in the holiday time. So maybe if Vanilla Bean Noel is not for you, or you're looking for just a different vanilla to add into your collection, this would be something I definitely keep your eye out for. So this one says it's ambery and addictive, sugared snowflakes dipped in holiday glamour, and it categorizes this one as a fruity amber. Now this one has top notes of glazed raspberry blossom with frosted vanilla. At the heart you have milk accord, and then the base note you have shimmering amber. For the actual image description, it does provide frosted vanilla, milky petals, and glazed amber. So this one is a really interesting take on a vanilla. So you have mixes of those more fruity notes, especially in the raspberry blossom, emphasis on that blossom part, right? So it's not just going to smell like that super juicy raspberry. Typically, when something has a blossom at the end of it, it definitely hints more into that floral world rather than that fruity world. So definitely something to keep in mind. And then at the heart, having that milk accord, again, could this be more of a latonic milky or like a latonic vanilla, almost like a raspberry milk or like a strawberry milk, or maybe something that could be like a raspberry cold foam, something in that sort of realm. I'm not sure how that milk accord is going to work, but something to look out for, that it could have a kind of latonic, more cream-based fragrance than some of the other fragrances that claim to be a vanilla. But that being said, again, I think the packaging is really nice here. I love the addition of the purple. It still is very cohesive with the rest of the collection without really overlapping a lot of the color combinations. And plus, I feel like this is a great take on a vanilla. It's not your typical just super weighed down, heavy gourmand. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I feel like when we get into the holiday time, it's nice to see vanilla mixed with something else. And I think vanilla mixed with that raspberry blossom and then having amber as the base is going to create a really interesting scent profile. Now, the last fragrance we have in this Victoria's Secret 4-piece collection is going to be the Whipped Marshmallow Dream. Now, this one, I think it has my favorite packaging. You guys know I am a sucker for anything like blue or especially purple, and this just looks so elegant, so girly. It's not necessarily, again, super holiday, but I feel like you could have this year-round on your shelf and it's just going to look stunning amongst your other products. Now, that being said, regarding the scent, it says it's fluffy and delightful, like floating on a creamy cashmere cloud. It categorizes this one as a floral gourmand, and it has notes of top notes, apple blossom and red berries, heart of jasmine petals, and base creamy woods and marshmallow musks. Now, something I've kind of learned while reviewing these fragrances and going through them, and by reviewing, I mean just like reading about them on the website and kind of looking through what people have been saying, the names are a little bit deceptive. Typically, when I'm thinking of something called Marshmallow Dream or Whipped Marshmallow Dream, I'm thinking this is going to be a super sugary, light, really whipped marshmallow, maybe even like a Rice Krispie vibe to it. And having those notes of berries, jasmine, apple blossom, this definitely is going to be that floral gourmand, that almost floral fruity gourmand. So I think it is important, if you are ordering fragrance, make sure you read sort of those like further notes about the products. I know it says that it mentions the cashmere woods and the jasmine blossom on the actual like image, but I didn't see anything about that apple blossom. And maybe you wouldn't think that this would be floral, you would think it'd be that true gourmand. So definitely something to keep in mind. But again, I think this is going to be unique in the holiday lineups. I think it'll also be a great transition when we get into that February to March transition area where it's still cold out, but it's sort of having glimpses of being warmer, or maybe it's just raining a lot and you want something a little bit sweet, but sort of leaning into more of these springtime fragrances. I feel like this one might be a great one to pick up and save it for more of those sort of transitional times. And you guys, that really wraps up the Victoria's Secret portion. We're going to dive right on into the Victoria's Secret Pink. So Victoria's Secret Pink is going to have 3 scents scents, and we're gonna start out with Biscotti Delight. Now, I love the Victoria's Secret pink packaging. It's nostalgic. It's almost that true pink from years ago, like 2015, 2016. Keeping with that sweater design, I feel like it combines a good amount of nostalgia, but an also elegant take on holiday. Yes, there are snowflakes. Yes, it does have that sweater pattern, but again, I feel like you could have this on your shelf year round and it would look really nice and kind of withstand the test of time. But our fragrance Biscotti Delight, it says, ooh la la, did somebody say sweet treat? And it does mention that this will be a limited edition fragrance. It has notes of sweet pistachio, pink sugar, and vanilla glaze. It says it smells like that warm out of the oven first bite of your morning pastry, yummy nutty pistachio with a sugary vanilla glaze, and feels like walking out of the winter chill and into your favorite festive bakery as the smell of sugar swirls in the air. I really love that they really build out the scent a little bit more and give like what it smells like, what it feels like, and it really just continues that idea that fragrance is a story. So I really enjoy that portion of the Victoria's Secret pink kind of fragrance breakdowns, and I'm excited for this one. I feel like we had a really great run with pistachio over the last couple of months. People really like these Sol de Janeiro. I believe it's the 62 is the pistachio, and then of course we had glazed pistachio come out in the everyday luxury pistachio glaze. I think it's glazed pistachio. That doesn't sound right. I think it's pistachio glaze come out as part of the everyday luxuries. I should really know that because I am using it right now in the shower. If you've been watching my project Use It Up for fall, but right now I feel like there's kind of that dead zone with pistachio. Definitely a lot of people are enjoying the really nutty, sweet, gourmand fragrances, and I think pistachio is a good way to kind of introduce those people to it. I am a little bit interested because it does call this one Biscotti Delight, and I'm not seeing any note of biscotti. Maybe that's where they're picking up the nuttiness, but typically biscotti has a very distinct fragrance. I do think biscotti would pair well with pistachio, so I think it would be a good combination, but just keeping that in mind, if you don't like that fragrance, it might be one of those kind of things that just doesn't work for you. I would keep that in mind with sort of the nuttiness of this fragrance. You might end up getting more of that biscotti note in this one. But overall, I think this will be fun. I think a lot of people will be drawn to it because it does have that kind of pistachio overlay to it. So excited to smell this one in store. Now, the next one that we have is called Coconut Cream. I think this is going to be really great for the more minimalist, almost clean girl aesthetic, the packaging especially. And this one says it has fragrance notes of puff pastry, whipped buttercream, and salted caramel. It smells like a cloud-like coconut caramel daydream, light buttery puff pastry, velvety cream, and fresh coconut shavings, and feels like walking out of the winter chill and into your festive bakery as the smell of sugar swirls in the air. So very similar kind of feels like, but these scent notes are different. Now, if you are a Bath & Body Works shopper and you're like, ooh, I'm wondering if Frosted Coconut Snowball will be coming back, because that one did come out as part of the summer semi-annual sale, Christmas in July collection, I have not seen anything about that one coming back. But if you are a die-hard coconut during the winter time, but you like that Frosted Coconut Snowball really takes a wintry effect with the coconut, definitely go ahead and check this one out. The only thing that comes off as a little bit of a red flag to me is that puff pastry, because I know I'm personally someone that if it has almost a butteriness to the fragrance, I really struggle with it in Bodycare. So that would be the only thing that I need to almost like double check with this one. But if not, I think it'd be a great fragrance. And again, if you're looking for a wintry coconut, I think this is going to be pretty unique to what we're seeing in the lineups of Bath & Body Works, as well as the majority of the holiday at the drugstore. Now, the last fragrance we have is called Jam Cookie, and I'm showing again the body lotion. Really enjoy this, nostalgic, love the red and the pink combination. It works really well and it just screams holiday. This one says it has notes of almond batter, fresh raspberry, and powdered sugar, and it smells like the iconic holiday cookie, jam-packed, pun intended, with raspberry goodness and a perfectly light dusting of powdered sugar. Now, immediately when I read this one, I'm thinking of the Bath & Body Works X Milk Bar Raspberry Holiday Pie collab that is supposed to be coming out around October 14th, October 15th. So that being said, maybe you don't like that one, but maybe maybe you like things like raspberry jam donut, or you like those raspberry fragrances, but you're kind of struggling to find one that you really like, this could be an option. So if you like the scent profile, I think we're going to have two really good kind of raspberry bakery, raspberry pie-esque fragrances at both Bath & Body Works and Victoria's Secret Pink. So it could be an option, as well as if they are doing another sale, or right now the body lotion I'm looking at right now is on sale for $10. Maybe if the Bath & Body Works is not doing a sale that is more in your budget, maybe Victoria's Secret Pink, you can get it on a deal day and kind of go back and forth with each of those products. So I think this will be an interesting one in the mix. It does seem like it's a pretty popular one this holiday, but again, I think it's exciting. You know, I don't feel like we get a lot of raspberry pie fragrances. Usually when it's raspberry, it's more of a fresh raspberry, so things like sun-ripened raspberry, or it's just raspberry absorbed as part of like a berries fragrance, and more of those berry vanilla fragrances. But you guys, that really wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it helpful. I personally haven't shopped Victoria's Secret or Victoria's Secret Pink body care in a while. I just find that the formula, especially in the lotion, is just way too, or the body cream, whatever they call it over there, is just way too watery compared to my Bath & Body Works lotions. And the fragrance, it smells amazing in the bottle, but on me, my like skin chemistry doesn't really work very well with those products. But I still did want to give awareness, as I know a lot of people like shopping both Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works. So if that's the case, I hope you guys enjoyed, found it helpful, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.